This alleged bar fight where Kavanaugh was reportedly questioned by police during his junior year at Yale. Well, Kavanaugh was not arrested, but a 21-year-old man accused him of throwing ice on him, quote, for some unknown reason. Chris Ludington was at Yale with Kavanaugh. He was also at the party and says Kavanaugh threw ice at the man. A witness told police that Chris Dudley, a Yale basketball player and a friend of Kavanaugh, hit the man in the ear with a glass. Dudley went on to play for the NBA. He was also a 2010 Republican candidate for governor of Oregon. And just a few days ago, he said there was drinking and there was alcohol. Brett drank and I drank. Did he get inebriated sometimes? Yes. Did I? Yes. Just like every other college kid in America. But not every college kid in America gets into a bar fight that ends at a police station. But some do, and hopefully no one is permanently injured and they grow up and life goes on, lesson learned, right? So why is this relevant? Why is it relevant? It's relevant because there are serious questions tonight about the veracity of Brett Kavanaugh's claims about drinking under oath. How much he drank and how regularly and whether he could have had blackouts from his drinking. And we are going to go through those tonight and see where we are with this, beginning with the president.
I watched him. I was surprised at how vocal he was about the fact that he likes beer. And he's had a little bit of difficulty. I mean, he talked about things that happened when he drank. I mean, this is not a man that said that alcohol was that he was perfect with respect to alcohol.
So the interesting thing about that is Brett Kavanaugh didn't say he had difficulty with alcohol. If he had acknowledged that at any point along the way, whether in his first round of testimony, his Fox News interview, his multiple statements, his testimony last week, we might not be having this conversation. Remember with Senator Klobuchar, she said, he asked her a question and she said, I don't have a drinking problem. And he said, neither do I. So he did acknowledge, though, that he likes beer a lot.
The calendars show a few weekday gatherings at friends' houses after a workout or just to meet up and have some beers. I drank beer with my friends. Almost everyone did. Sometimes I had too many beers. Sometimes others did. I liked beer. I still like beer. Yes, we drank beer, my friends and I, the boys and girls. Yes, we drank beer. I liked beer, still like beer. We drank beer. We drank beer, and you know, so did I think the vast majority of people our age at the time. But in any event, we drank beer and still do. So whatever, yeah, we drank beer, and I said sometimes probably had too many beers, and sometimes other people had too many beers. We drank beer. We liked beer.
What do you consider to be too many beers?
I don't know. You know, whatever the chart says on your blood alcohol chart. I got a weak stomach, whether it's with beer or with spicy food or anything. I like beer.
You haven't answered that.
I like beer. I don't know if you do.
Okay.
Do you like beer, Senator?
Plenty of people drink beer, right? There's nothing wrong with drinking beer. But not telling the truth about your drinking, now that is a problem, especially when you are under oath. And Chad Ludington says that's exactly what he did. He lied about his drinking. That's according to Chad Ludington. You heard what he told Chris Cuomo just a short time ago. Here it is.
Yes, I believe that he lied and distorted and dissembled to the Senate Judiciary Committee. He obviously acknowledged drinking beer, but he also, and he did say on occasion I had too much, and then he also said on occasion others had too much. But for me, he never acknowledged that he got to the point that he might not actually remember something. And I find that very hard to believe, frankly. I find that impossible to believe, actually.
Okay, so I want you to listen to this now. This is Liz Swisher, who also went to Yale with Brett Kavanaugh.
I've known Brett since the very beginning of freshman year,
He was always one of the beer drinking boys, and I drank beer with him. I liked beer. There's no problem with drinking beer in college. The problem is lying about it. He drank heavily. He was a partier. He liked to do beer bongs. He played drinking games. He was a sloppy drunk.
These people like beer a lot. That's a lot of beer liking. So now some people will say that what difference does it make how much he drank when he was a teenager, even when he was at Yale? Well, let me tell you why it matters. If Judge Kavanaugh admits that he drank that much in the past, even though he swears he never sexually assaulted anyone, a lot of people are going to wonder if he did it. And maybe doesn't even remember it. That's why the FBI is expanding its investigation tonight, including talking to Kavanaugh's high school friend, Mark Judge. And that's exactly what should happen, an investigation. That is the only way we have any hope of getting to the truth. But I guess it's no surprise that some Republicans are resorting to, I don't know, what sounds like a pretty desperate ploy to me, trying to compare all of this to, wait for it, McCarthyism. This is Mitch McConnell today, the Majority Leader.
This institution has seen before episodes somewhat like what we're now seeing from some of our colleagues across the aisle. Back during the McCarthy era. In fact, in 1950, character assassination and uncorroborated allegations were being utilized in a very different debate in that era.
John Cornyn last week.
I can't think of a more embarrassing scandal for the United States Senate since the McCarthy hearings, when the comment was about the cruelty of the process toward the people involved. And the question was asked, have you no sense of decency? And I'm afraid we've lost that, at least for the time being.
Yeah. Well, that's a heavy comparison and not an accurate one, because this is not McCarthyism. McCarthyism was a sickness that infected American politics for years. It ruined the lives of countless people. A sickness that began in 1950 when McCarthy claimed that 250 people at the State Department were communists, and didn't end until this moment, 4 years later.
May I say that Mr. Welch talks about this being cruel and reckless. He was just baiting. He has been baiting Mr. Cohen here for hours, requesting that Mr. Cohen, before sundown, get out of any department of the government anyone who was serving the communist cause. Now, I just give this man's record, and I want to say, Mr. Welch, that it has been labeled long before he became a member, as early as 1944.
Senator, may we not drop this? We know he belongs to the Lawyers Guild. And Mr. Cohen nods his head at me. I did you, I think, no personal injury, Mr. Cohen.
No, sir.
I meant to do you no personal injury. And if I did, I beg your pardon. Let us not assassinate this lad further, Senator. You've done enough. Have you no sense of decency, sir, at long last? Have you left no sense of decency?
So again, I say this is not McCarthyism. This is a search for the truth about a man who is nominated to the Supreme Court, a man whose decisions could affect every single American for years to come. Every one of us deserves to know the truth.